What's up, Totem Pole Nation? Welcome back to Lambo and Matt's World of Sports. Today we are getting into the women's side of March Madness, the Sweet 16 preview, plus what the roads look like to the Final Four out of each region. We'll give our takes, we'll give where we were wrong about certain games, and we'll give, the general breakdown of how the opening weekend went. Before we get into all that, make sure to visit TotemPoleNation.com to get some gear. Huge shout out to Sideline Sports Network. As always, our socials are scrolling in the ticker if you wanted to give us a follow or hit us up with any ideas of what to talk about next. Without further ado, let's get into Women's March Madness right now.
All right, another weekend of basketball, which is great. Obviously, when it comes to the women, it's something special. Now, I want to start at the Regional 1 in Albany, the right side of the bracket. You got a Friday game of Oregon State versus Notre Dame. Now, it's a team, Notre Dame won the ACC, obviously. They blew out Virginia Tech. A lot of injuries that happened along the course, but I'm not surprised that Notre Dame made this far, especially with the two games that they had. They blew out Kent State and they blew out Ole Miss. When it comes to this game, give me Notre Dame to advance to the Elite Eight. They can shoot. If Notre Dame is on point, they can definitely shoot. I'm not going to underestimate Oregon State, but, Notre Dame is Notre Dame, and most teams in the ACC so far have been successful. Now, another game you want to watch out for in the Regional 4 bracket on the left side is Texas and Gonzaga. Texas has surprised a lot of people, and Gonzaga, women's team good and the men's team good. Now, I'm going to pick for an upset on this one. I'm going to pick Gonzaga to beat Texas. That's my pick. Now, where was I wrong? Now, I thought that Florida State could upset Alabama on that side of the bracket, but according to the bracket, I was just wrong about everything. I thought Alabama could put off some type of upset against Texas, and that just wasn't the case. Texas is too powerful. They're too strong. They got a couple bigs there. So give me Gonzaga upset to win. Now, on the right side of the column, Regional 3, UConn and Duke. Woo! Head coach of UConn said that Paige Buckner is the best in America. Now, Duke is kind of a little shaky. Obviously, they're not the same program as the men's program, but they made it far so far with they struggled against Ohio State, but they pulled off the win. Then, of course, they played Richmond in the first round, obviously, but UConn is a very tough team. Now, UConn got the best players. Give me UConn. I mean, I'm not putting my money on Duke. I don't like Duke, and there's nothing against the women on the team. It's nothing against the coaches. I just can't stand Duke in general. I would never be repping their colors. It's the same thing on UVA. I can't never rep their colors, right? So give me UConn, right, to the Elite Eight. Now, on the top side, Baylor versus USC. Now, Virginia Tech did have a chance without Elizabeth Kitley to win that game. A couple missed shots, a couple crucial turnovers. We missed the easy post move. It was a lot. But I wouldn't underestimate Baylor. Now, USC does have that one girl that can score some points. They really Juju, yeah. She can score. Maybe she'll be the next takeover when it comes to college basketball. So this is going to be very tough. This is the Baylor's first Sweet 16 in the women's, I think, since 2012. Go ahead and give me USC to win that one. And then finally, on the top right side of Regional 2, LSU versus UCLA. LSU, right? Looking to repeat back-to-back champions, obviously, which is, not an easy task to do. So UCLA, great players, great staff, obviously. LSU did struggle a little bit the first round against Rice. They blew out Middle Tennessee. UCLA had a battle with Creighton. Creighton fought them to the end. Give me LSU to win that one. And, of course, I didn't forget Regional 1, South Carolina versus Indiana. South Carolina just blew out North Carolina. It wasn't even a close game. They blew out Pedestrian. I mean, both of their margins of victory are at least 40 plus points in 2 games. Uh, Indiana is going to be something we're fighting for. So I still think that South Carolina has the advantage. So give me South Carolina to beat Indiana.
Yeah, so that first game South Carolina played was against Presbyterian, not pedestrian, but all good there. Yeah, I don't know who's going to beat them. I don't know if it's possible. They're so deep. If you just go to their page and you like just go straight off of surface level observations, which is like box score and stuff like that, it's spread out from, I mean, the starters all the way to like 10 deep, of players that average points every single game on a consistent basis and other stats to contribute as well. It's not just, the top 5 guys or girls are doing all the contributing. It's an even spread all the way down. And that's, part of the reason why they're undefeated up to this point and they're just mopping the floor with people. Obviously, Camila Cardoso is a beast. That's, she leads the team in points and rebounds. I just don't know who's going to beat them. So South Carolina, I think if anybody from Region 1 has any hope of getting to the Final Four, they're going to have to play their absolute best game against South Carolina. I think the team that has the best chance to do that is Notre Dame. I mean, they can defend as well as anybody in the country. And like you mentioned, they can also shoot the ball like nobody's business. ACC tournament title winners, and you mentioned it as well, the ACC is one of, if not the best conferences in women's college basketball. You could start to make the argument again for men's college basketball after everybody was sleeping on them. They're taking up 4 spots in the Sweet 16. So whatever, but we'll talk about the men's after this next round. It's just, it all goes through South Carolina. I love Notre Dame. I think they're going to win this next game, but once they meet South Carolina, it's over. Indiana, they started off good, blew out Fairfield, and then beat Oklahoma by, I'm losing it right now, 7 points. You don't have a chance. You don't have a chance. Senior Mackenzie Holmes is the leading scorer for them. There's no shot. Sorry, there's just no shot. And with Oregon State, I don't want to just like breeze by them either. They're going to give Notre Dame a good game. Sophomore Reagan Beers is their team leader in scoring, rebounding, steals, and blocks, which is awesome. But like we mentioned, Notre Dame can defend so well 1 through 5, and she's a 4/5. Like if she's the only thing that's been propelling y'all to this point, I'm not saying they don't have a good team underneath her, but she's the leader in every single category. Going against one of the best defending teams in the country, I'm just going to give that matchup to the defense because I haven't seen her teammates carry like she's carried. I could be wrong. I could definitely be wrong. But on top of that, we can also add that the higher seeds in the opening rounds went 43-4, 31-1 in round of 64, and 13-3 in the round of 32. So the favorites are most likely going to win. I think Notre Dame is deserving of that favorite spot in this game. I think they win. Let's see here. Then we'll go down to Region 4, just so I can scroll down. I'm taking Texas over Gonzaga. It's not that I don't think Gonzaga is good. It's just the top end talent is just so much better than even a few seeds down in certain regions here. And I think the Texas one is one of them. But I do think that Stanford NC State is probably going to be the best game of that region right there because, I mean, Stanford's got, what's her name? Cameron Brink.
Yeah, I thought it was the Cameron Brink that we knew back in elementary school.
Yeah, I know. And that's why I got it confused with Carmela too, because that's her sister's name. But Cameron Brink, center on Stanford. She's a beast, obviously. But she's playing an NC State squad that is no joke. Bunch of dogs on that NC State squad. I don't even know who I have really in that. I've got Texas versus whoever shows up with, better energy that day. Moving over, UConn's going to take care of Duke. I'm not really worried about it. Duke, convincing win over Ohio State. Super shocking to me. Did not expect it at all. UConn's a different animal, right? Paige, imagine if Paige never tore her ACL. I feel like she'd have just as, maybe not just as much, but she'd have near as much media attention as Caitlin Clark. She was that top name going to UConn before people even knew who Caitlin Clark was. So, Paige, I think Gino has every right to say that his senior guard is the best one in the country over Caitlin. Do I think he's right? There's arguments to be made both ways. But UConn's different, dude. So give me UConn over Duke as well. I'm taking USC over Baylor because I do recognize that was a tight matchup here at Castle. I do realize it snapped our 26 game winning streak at home. And I do realize it hit the fast forward button on Kenny Brooks leaving. With all that being said, we were a man down, and not just a man down, the best woman that has been in the ACC in basketball in the past 10 years, if not of all time. She leads multiple statistics. I don't have to get into all that again because they're gone. But that Baylor team that took us to the wire without our best player, I don't think is putting up as much as a fight against a USC team that's already a 1 seed and does have their best player. So give me USC. I don't know how close that one's going to be. Iowa and Colorado. Look, man, a lot of people are pissed off about this Iowa and West Virginia game and the foul differences, free throws, and everything like that. I think a lot of people are going to be cheering for the Colorado Buffaloes against the Iowa Hawkeyes. And Colorado is good. If we remember, they started the year in the top 5, I think, in preseason rankings or like the first couple of season rankings. Like, this was a team at the beginning of the year people thought were going to be good. They fell to a 5 seed, and they've proven that they are still good through the game so far. So it's not going to be a walk in the park at all. We just saw how close a West Virginia team took them, and that's with the refs on Iowa side. So it's going to be tight. I'm not going to bet against Caitlin Clark yet. I don't think this is the week, but it damn sure could be. And you can take my word right now. I will not be putting any money on that Iowa versus Colorado game because I can definitely see it going both ways. Now, UCLA and LSU, I'm with you 100%. I'm taking LSU. I just saw UCLA not be able to defend well for, probably 35 minutes of a 40-minute game. Their defense clamped up at the end, and they were able to pull away a little bit. But they were down for a lot of that game, and I'm watching, sweating it out. I just had higher expectations for them. I don't think that they can have a lackluster game on defense like they did against Creighton against LSU. So I'm going to go with LSU there. So I think we're pretty aligned on most of our picks except for the Texas and Gonzaga one.
I'll tell you this. If Iowa somehow passes Colorado, it'll be the rematch of the Final Four championship game last year in the Elite Eight of Iowa versus LSU. And there has been some talk, right? There has been some talk. Caitlin Clark, I've said, Caitlin Clark is the system. Now, if she doesn't make her shots, LSU is going to bring some trouble. And I'm not sleeping on Angel Reese. I know there was a lot of distraction at the beginning of the season. You know, she got pregnant. She couldn't do multiple things like at the same time. But don't sleep on Angel Reese as well either, because I mean, they got something. And the transfer from Louisville. Oh yeah. They those are $2 right there.
She got benched the other night though.
She'll be fine. That see, when you get bitch, that's gonna help her realize that she gotta be on point. Not only in the UCLA game, but when they beat UCLA against Iowa. That's fine. Hey, all the best players get bitched. I mean, Angel Reese didn't play a couple games earlier in the season. She got bitched before. So
yeah, but we don't know the reasoning of that. That was something outside of basketball that she was away from the team for. She was just benched coming out of halftime because she played like shit in the first.
Well, I mean, it's the same thing.
Those are completely different things.
It's kind of the same thing when you're not mentally in
it. Dude, no.
When you're not mentally in it. I understand she had problems or stuff going on outside of it, but if you're not mentally in it, it's more like the same thing. That's like not showing up to practice, and then you come to a game and you play like shit. It's about the same thing. It's just the outside.
But Haley's not missing. Haley's not missing practice. They just went into a game against a team that they should have beat the shit out of, and she played terrible in the first. No, I shouldn't say terrible. She played bad enough to get benched for the start of the second half. She came back in and she played, but she was just playing poorly. That I don't know if that has to do with like missing practice and coming in and playing bad. Like she just started the game poorly.
Maybe
we can't be speculating that someone's skipping practice.
Well, it's about ego. It happens around college basketball. It's all about ego. I'm not saying she has an ego, but it's all about ego. There are certain players that don't feel like they need to practice. I mean, we don't know. You know, college is good at covering most of that stuff up better than the professionals. The professionals will release stuff like that about somebody missing practice, but when it comes to college, they cover stuff up. That's just how it is. The safeness of the players. But this is it for Lambo and Matt's World of Sports. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. We want to thank you, Silas Sotero, for the platform. We'll see who advances to the championship game on my birthday weekend. We'll see what happens. It may be some upsets. It may not. We'll catch you later. Y'all have a great day.